we are still here on the bus on Bali, driving towards the ferry. And so let us continue. John chapter 15, verse 6. If anyone does not abide in me, he is thrown away like a branch and withers. And the branches are gathered, thrown to the fire and burned. He said it in verse 2, he's saying and repeating it now again. Okay, so if you don't bear fruit, if you don't abide in him, then you're thrown away. Okay? That says that. If you don't abide in him, you're thrown away. In verse 2, he said, those who are not bearing fruit will be cast away. So, as well, then, if you add those two verses together, you get clearly the concept that those bearing fruit will abide. And those not bearing fruit, the ones who won't abide. And those not bearing fruit, the ones who never were his from the start. Okay. And so you don't abide in him. You claim to be something. You claim to be a branch, but you are not a branch. Right? You claim to be a a pear when you're actually a grape. Right? No. You're not going to start tasting like a pear just because you want to be something else. Okay, here are bananas behind me, going past some bananas now. I can claim, okay, I'm a banana. And if you eat me, you'll be put in prison for eating another human. Okay, it's not going to work just because I claim something, right? It doesn't change. So the serious thing here, I therefore want to say, and Jesus was saying to the people here, is that if you claim to be Jew, but you worship other gods, you're not a Jew, you'll go to hell. If you claim to be a Christian, but you don't bear fruit, because you don't abide in him, because you don't abide in him, because you're not his, then you'll be cast out. You will be cast out. This is not a question of no one will snatch you out of my hand. You're not in my hands. You'll be cast out. Okay, and this is a super warning to the original readers as well. Okay, are they his? If not, they'll be cast out. And so many did not believe in him. A lot believed in him. We see it in Acts. But so many did not. So they were cast out in the year 70 AD when Jerusalem was destroyed by the Romans. So you cast out, you withers, thrown into fire. So I'm not saying here now that Jesus is speaking so much about the concept of heaven and hell, and you will be ultimately, if you're not his, you are going to. What Jesus is using the example of the grapes, that this is what this is what you do with these branches. They're just thrown in the fire. You can't really use the branches. You can use the stem still. We used to make fire with the vine itself, right? But the branches, you can't barbecue meat on a branch. It's worthless. Okay, so this is what he is saying as well, that they're worthless, right? Because they're not in Christ. What gives them their worth is to be in Christ. So as a Christian as well, you are on your own worthless, but being in Christ. Okay, now again, please, I'm not saying humans are worthless. You're made in the image of God, so in that sense, you're not worthless. Okay, but I'm speaking now of your deeds and what you achieve, right? In that sense, you are worthless. But being in Christ, what you achieve is because you are in Christ. So if you achieve nothing, that means you're not in Christ. You're not abiding in Him. And then you are useless. You are thrown out. Okay, so this is just why Jesus is speaking. They would all understand this is useless. So I'm not saying that Jesus is not speaking here of hell, but the only kind of problem that arises here is that people think of hell as just a place where there's a fire burning. Okay, because it's kind of what Jesus is kind of saying, or at least according to them here, because they draw that context. That direct link from there to the concept of heaven, hell kind of idea. No, Jesus is not here speaking, he's not giving here us an explanation of what hell is like. He's not doing this here, right? He is speaking that what you would do with a branch not bearing fruit, you'll cut it off and throw it into the fire. We all understand it, you're useless, right? So the same way with someone claiming to be something they are not, and then not bearing any fruit is, well, you know, I just want to, and I think possible, it's kind of now at the beach here, maybe I can try throw this around to show you the beach view. I don't think it's possible. You kind of maybe can see, I can't unluckily zoom in, I can maybe try and zoom in a bit here. Yeah, there you can see the sea, and just as well, you know, like, oh, okay, we can't. Jesus is not, in other words, here now speaking or teaching us. This is a systematic theology concerning what heaven is like and what hell is like. And hell is just a place where a fire, where everything is burned. Okay, because he's speaking. This is what you do to a branch that you cut off, which is not bearing any fruit. Plain simple. So if you're not in Christ, you're not bearing fruit. You're useless. You're just thrown out. You're burned. That's that. Okay, so this is not, again, please, heaven. So don't connect these, because Jesus is not speaking of fruit in that sense. Yeah, because then it just sort of creates this idea that hell is just a place with fire and it's burning, kind of. And I think hell is a lot more than just burn. I mean, you're in the wrath of God, and it's more than just physical fire. It's a lot worse than physical fire. I don't think we can think of a lot of things worse than physical fire, but the wrath of God is a lot worse than physical fire. Just ask Jesus.